How's it hanging, toy fans? This is Brock Lauer here, and
Kyle Walters.
And welcome to our 7th episode of Talking Toys, our new episode for 2019. And today's episode we'll be talking a lot of coverage about what was revealed at 2019 Toy Fair. So yeah, we have a whole lot. So we're just going to get right into it. So let's start off with Mattel, what they released. We'll get into the news of DC and Mcfarlane and Mattel and what's going on there. But first we just want to kind of just dive right into Mattel toys and what they showed. For their multiverse line, they did show Shazam and Savannah for the new Shazam movie. They also showed for the multiverse figures. This will be like their remaining line. I think this will be probably their second to last or last line of DC multiverse figures. They showed Joker, 80s Batman, black suit, yellow emblem. They also showed Riddler, Robin, like animated version Poison Ivy. So yeah, so it's 89 Batman, Joker, animated Poison Ivy, Riddler, and Robin. That's will be like your second to last DC multiverse line. And also Mattel released their Jurassic World, new Indominus Rex, Destroy and Devour, which you pull the tail back and it devours figures, kind of very similar to that T-Rex last year. They also have like a super colossal big blue raptor, same scale as the T-Rex from last year. A new T-Rex that has articulation, so the new articulation for their Jurassic Park figures is like it has a tail action. It wags the tail, and it also like the T-Rex like turns its head and chomps. And they also have a new Brachiosaurus. They also have a new Stegosaurus, Triceratops. Both have tail strikes, and the Triceratops also has like a headbutt movement as well. But let's continue on to Mezco reveals. So Kyle, you're our Mezco guy. What did you see from Mezco? You could tell us some new reveals and also what you like.
They had so much cool stuff. As far as their 1/12 line went, they showcased the Shadow. Not a lot of people got it, but they I want to say like maybe early 2000s sometimes. At Toy Fair, they released their mascot, or not Toy Fair, San Diego Comic Con. They released their mascot Gomez.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're bringing him to the 1/12 line. I personally don't care about the mascot really.
He had like 3 alternate heads. He had a whole bunch of accessories.
It looks cool because they made him like it's like James Bond meets a bug.
Right.
So it looks cool. I just don't know if I necessarily care. Harley Quinn was cool.
Yeah.
The comic style her, comic style Aquaman, comic style Wonder Woman. In the catalog, they showcased Moon Knight and Gambit. I love Gambit. He is my favorite X-Men character, so I will be getting Gambit. The Warriors they already showcased. That's pretty cool for people who grew up in like the 80s and stuff to get that.
Yeah.
Because I'd never seen the Warriors. I just remember the one where it's like, come out and play.
Yeah, they did more like horror, like Michael Myers from Halloween 2, Freddy Krueger, Jason Voorhees. Yeah, more of those kind of figures. What about Batman, Keaton Batman? Did I catch your eye?
That was phenomenal.
So, did you see any, because you named them all pretty much, that's what was released by Mezco. Did you see any figures you're like, oh, I have to buy automatically?
Probably Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn?
I like Harley Quinn a lot. And getting a really nice classic style Aquaman would be cool. And then Gambit.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, I'm not 100% sure, but I am looking, the ones I did really like out of all of them were Wonder Woman, Aquaman. I mean, like, for me particularly, those ones really stood out. I mean, Pennywise looked cool. Hellboy came out with the new movie. I think it's older Hellboy from the last movie, not the new one.
Oh, with Ron Perlman.
Yeah, and also the Captain Marvel figure, she comes with, like, alternate heads, effects, and she also comes with a cat. So, I don't plan to buy... I mean, like, the ones that really stood out to me I want to buy are Wonder Woman and Aquaman. And also they have a new 5-point line with, like, they're like 3-inch figures with the Scooby-Doo monsters and Scooby-Doo gang.
And the Addams Family.
Yeah, the Addams Family. They have, like, a Wolfman one, a Hawkman one, and a Space Ghost one. So what did you think of, like, that new kind of thing, like 3-inch figures from Mezco?
I thought it was cool. Maybe it was just because, like, I mean, I always love nostalgia, but it's like, I don't necessarily, like, want to go back to having 5 points of articulation.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be more stoked if I could get Scooby-Doo in the 1/12 line, like how we got Space Ghost.
Yeah,
That would be amazing. Scooby and Shaggy.
I hear you, and I will say those figures were actually pretty well made because they had like the Phantom, and then they also had like the blue skeleton and like I think it was in like a spaceman astronaut suit. They also had those, which like the frosted glass and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean Mezco is being Mezco. I mean they do a good job every show, and also the Ghost Rider looked pretty kick-ass with the motorcycle
bike.
and the effects.
I feel like those together are going to be as expensive as Darkseid is right now.
Yeah. And on the big news, I think the biggest news that came out of Toy Fair this weekend was Mcfarlane buying the DC license and Harry Potter license for 3 years, and that goes into effect next year in 2020. Well, this is for all you DC multiverse fans. I know this is a little bit more. Oh, here we go again. We're rebooting the DC license again. First it was Icons, and then it was like you had like DC Collectibles. You wanted to restart with Mattel. So this is like the third or fourth reboot where now Mcfarlane Toys is buying the DC license, but they also bought the Harry Potter license. They also have the Game of Thrones license as well, which they made a couple of figures for. We'll get into that later.
He's gotten some anime licenses like Todd McFarlane. I've always been a fan of his stuff, but I don't really care for horror.
Yeah.
I'd like to get into Spawn, but I don't really know anything about Spawn either, so it's really cool to see him finally get, like, because I remember he talked about it at the show where he said he really wanted, he always felt kind of left out not having one of the big three, which the big three are DC, Marvel, and Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, like, I'm more excited about him getting DC or even Marvel. For him getting that would be cool too, but obviously I think as fans, I think for the most part we're pretty happy with the body of work that Hasbro's been doing, whereas Mattel, this past year, Mattel's been great, but before that, Mattel still did the same DC Classics articulation, and it was just really boring.
Yeah, I'm really excited for McFarlane getting the DC license, the Harry Potter license, especially the Harry Potter license, because that hasn't been done in a very long time. And also, him getting the DC license is good. I wouldn't say it would be good before if I didn't see those Fortnite figures. He said that those Fortnite figures, if you're not into Fortnite or if you are into Fortnite, it'll have the same level of articulation with the Fortnite figures. So if you like the Fortnite figures and thought they were pretty good, which I have seen in person, they'll have the same level of articulation. That's like a whole new thing they did. They tried out with the Fortnite wave, and now you'll see that with the DC wave. McFarlane himself is really excited about the license and the fresh start and him having one of the bigger licenses now. I'm looking forward to it personally. I think he will do a great job. I think they do a really good job with likeness. I think they do now with the Fortnite figures, they will do a really good job with articulation. So with this brand new news, Kyle, and it's a big shift. It was probably the biggest news coming out of Toy Fair. It was pretty unexpected. I mean, it was kind of unexpected. I mean, it was funny because with Aquaman, they had like this whole lineup and this whole team, and then like right after from SDCC, which we were just talking about, they won SDCC with reveals. The two guys were in charge of Multiverse were fired, and changes were occurring, and Mattel had to there was Spin Master got the DC license, and it was just kind of like the license for DC was up in the air, and things were changing, and Mattel was gotten to be more unsure of what was going to happen with that license. So now with McFarlane owning it, and based on everything we know so far, what do you think of McFarlane getting the DC license, the Harry Potter license? What are your thoughts?
No offense to Spin Masters, but I am so excited they are not doing 6-inch figures, which I figured because Spin Masters is more geared towards like less articulation, more kid-oriented stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same way as Playmates Toys owns the master license for Ninja Turtles. But if you want really good Ninja Turtle figures, you want them from NECA, or you want them from SH Figuarts, or Rebel Tech, or whatever. You don't necessarily want them from Playmates because you're going to get better quality figure for companies that focus more so on adults or more so on sculpting. I'm over the hill excited, even if it wasn't going to be as articulated. I love really good sculpts, so I'm really excited. I think he's going to do a really good job. Mattel's weird to me because Mattel, even through all this, is still the #1 toy company in the world because Mattel owns the exclusive rights to Barbie and Hot Wheels. And honestly, I feel like that's really right now what's keeping Mattel constantly just being #1, because it's weird to see them they lost the He-Man rights, or I don't think they lost them, but I think they sold the He-Man rights to Super 7, which is fine. I don't really care for He-Man. They most recently showcased that they are in fact wanting to get some Thundercats out,
Mm-hmm.
which is fine. That's cool too. But then now with like losing a big license to DC, which they probably had, I want to say since '05.
Yeah.
I'm honestly though, like I felt, and I feel like a lot of people felt too, that a lot of their figures were getting stale. Like for example, I bought a Batwoman figure from them just because I love Batman. I need a Batwoman figure in my collection, but nothing special about it. It's just sort of.
I mean, like
vanilla
they kind of
focus.
Mattel overall. I thought had a weak show. They just had these multiverse. The only guy that really talked was the guy who was like in charge of the Jurassic Park, Jurassic World line, and like they didn't have everyone was waiting for the He-Man, She-Ra figure to be revealed. That wasn't revealed. The Thundercats line wasn't like shown. So I mean, I thought they had a pretty pitiful show.
It was kind of meh. I mean, if
Yeah.
they were smart too, you gotta go more. Like one of the cool things they did at San Diego was when they showcased like 6-inch Chris Pratt and stuff, and I want to say
Right.
Dr. Ian Malcolm as well.
Right.
It's like you gotta keep it going with what people want, like because now their bread and butter, from my perspective, for adult collectors, the bread and butter is Jurassic World.
Yeah, definitely
Because
Mattel.
without a DC license, they're gonna really have to also go back to the drawing board with Thundercats.
Yeah.
Because Thundercats is cool, but we weren't born in the 80s. For people born in the 80s, like Thundercats is like iconic.
I agree with you that Jurassic Park, Jurassic World line is their strongest license right now. I do agree with that. I think it's the most detailed, the most paint and the detail and the what they're putting into is like it's their best license, no doubt. So yeah, I agree with all the points you make. Now shifting over to NECA, they also released pretty much a big deal. It was a big deal of like Target exclusive TMNT animated series 2-packs. And that'll be released in February and March, so that actually is going to be released like right now. They also have the 2-packs will be Rocksteady, Bebop, Donatello vs. Krang, Leonardo vs. Shredder, Michelangelo vs. Foot Soldier, Raphael vs. Foot Soldier. So what did you make of that line?
Those were freaking amazing. I wish I gave a crap about TMNT. I really do. Like I know it's we're some of the few people that don't necessarily care about TMNT, but like those the sculpt, the paint apps, NECA. I know their bread and butter is like Predator, but I think their best figures are easily TMNT.
I thought
those things were amazing.
I thought those were like one of the top 10 biggest things in the show, and that seemed to get a lot of people excited and really turn some heads. And I do like the detail and stuff like that. I'm just not I didn't grow up watching the show, so I can't appreciate it as much, but I think it's really cool that the way those figures looked and how they were portrayed in the paint and everything, just the level of detail was really amazing. And I think, that's one of the best things about the show this year.
It was weird, though, because I remember they said one of the things they have to do, because Playmates Toys owns the master license, is in order to release figures like that, they had to do them through quote-unquote specialty retailers, or if they had them in a store, they had to be like in an adult area, so to speak, which is why they would release the exclusive packs at San Diego Comic-Con or New York Comic-Con. And I wonder if because they're 2-pack, they have that designated area in Targets now, right by the Funko Pops.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's how they're able to get around it, because obviously, because Playmates owns the master license, they want to not necessarily have competition per se. No offense to Playmates Toys, but it's like they want to eliminate the competition, because NECA's figures, from my perspective, are better. They're a little more expensive, obviously, because I think like a Playmates toy is probably like $10.
Yeah.
And a NECA figure, like from my perspective, those 2-packs will probably cost like I'd say $40.
Yeah.
I think a $40 price point would be fair, and I think that's what they're gonna put on it. But it's like those things make me wish I was a TMNT.
Yeah,
those are cool.
I mean, they have a good diverse brand setting. I mean, they're doing TMNT 4th Scale, Shredder, Foot Soldier, GameStop TMNT exclusive movie collection. They're doing Godzilla, Mothra, Rodan from the movie, Flame Godzilla, and the older Godzillas as well. So, like, yeah, even if they have, like, one license, they'll do more, like, they'll do different versions of that license, whether it's Godzilla or TMNT. I mean, they're making a Bob Ross painter figure. Did you see that one?
Yeah, that'll go perfect because they have random stuff like Golden Girls, Bob Ross, and Ace Ventura, which I saw the Ace Ventura in person.
Yeah.
That looks cool. I kind of want to get the Ace Ventura and the Buddy of the Elf because they're so random.
They're doing Goonies, Chubb, and Sloth. Karate Kid figures, both like regular figures and with cloth outfits, such as like Russo and Mr. Miyagi. They're doing like the Nun with the Crooked Man from the Conjuring series. They're doing that whole collection, doing more Alien figures with Series 13 on that. Toonie Terrors, which is cartoon-looking versions of Pennywise, Jason, Freddy.
Those look cool.
Yeah.
I really like the aesthetic of those. The one thing though that I'm bummed no one asked. They haven't asked since either Toy Fair last year or San Diego Comic-Con. I can't think of his name. Oh, Randy, I think is his name.
Yeah,
the guy who's always interviewed. He seems like a super nice guy.
Yeah.
And a couple years ago, they showed these really cool DC versus
the Alien and Predator, or
yeah,
the Alien
it was
figures.
DC versus Dark Horse Comics. I want to say Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Where they had like the Joker Alien versus Batman, Batman versus Predator. Because the only NECA product I personally own is the Neil Adams tribute to where Superman fought Muhammad Ali.
Mm-hmm. That was a cool set.
And I love that set. Their articulation isn't necessarily as good as, say, a figure arts.
Yeah.
But the sculpt is literally beyond beautiful. I think NECA's sculpting is just out of this world. And it's just a bummer because I really hope they're able to do the Dark Horse vs. DC 2-packs or do some more DC stuff. Like, they didn't even do any more Marvel quarter scales. They didn't showcase, like, how they've showcased the Daredevil the one time, and they showcased the Deadpool.
Right.
And those are supposed to be really good, too, but it's just like, NECA, I'd like to see you do some more superhero-oriented stuff.
I mean, I give them credit. They're making like a Crystal Lake accessory set. They're doing like a cloth Pennywise. They're doing a 4-scale Michael Myers, Glory figure. They're also doing a Chucky 2-pack. And they're also doing the Del Toro collection from Pan's Labyrinth and Creature from Shape of Water. So, you got to give them credit. They just do anything they want pretty much.
It's some of it's just like super, super random. Like, I love the Golden Girls, and it makes me want to buy the 4 Golden Girls. Especially Betty White is a national treasure. It's a worldwide treasure.
It's nice to see a figure company like NECA really do adult theme
licensees. Like, I love Hasbro to pieces.
Right.
They killed it at this show. But obviously Hasbro focuses a lot of their market on children. Mm-hmm. And I feel like there's very few companies that are like 100% adult oriented. And it's like, NECA might not come out and say it, but they create stuff that, like, I feel like as adults, we, as adult nerds, we could appreciate more than, say, if we were 10 or 12. Like, the sculpt detail is immaculate. Those TMNT figures, even just the overall aesthetic of, if I could compare the TMNT figures to one thing, I'd compare it to the Batman animated figures on how those colors are just lights, and the vinyl really pops, and just the overall aesthetic is just fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm not a diehard horror fan or anything. I know they want to get, I think they said they acquired more video game licenses too, but they wouldn't go into detail about it.
Yeah, speaking of which, they're doing like Crash Bandicoot, Coco figure, Neo Cortex. They're also doing like different kinds of Crash Bandicoot, like when he's like in swimwear and he's skydiving. And they're also doing Spyro, so they're also doing that.
Spyro, I have a feeling, will sell a heck of a lot. Because Funko came out the Spyro Pop, and then there's been some statues, and I know that fan base is huge.
Yeah, I mean, you got to give it to NECA. They always have a good show every year. So let's move on to Hasbro Transformers. Did you see any Hasbro Transformers? I know you're not into Transformers as much. Did you see anything there that surprised you?
Nothing really. I know Hasbro, in general, one of the ingenious things they did was basically they bought the entire, like, Hasbro controls pretty much like 100% of Transformers in general, because they bought the license and all that and all the rights to it back in the 80s.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was ingenious, but as far as like the actual toys, I don't really collect Transformers. I wish I did, because
I mean, the way they're making,
some cool ones, even with Hasbro. There's some cool ones from import companies. Not for me.
Yeah, I'm the same with you there, but
plus some of them are incredibly expensive.
Yeah, and I will say this though, that they've really stepped up the Transformer game, and The new reveals they did make for Transformers were the Transformers Masterpiece Collection. It includes Megatron, new Optimus Prime, he's kind of looks gray. They have Wheeljack, Jetfire, Omega Supreme, which was like the biggest thing. Omega Supreme, I mean, I'm no Transformer expert here, but like apparently that was like the biggest Transformer they had there, and it was huge. It's gonna be like over $100 figure.
Their Masterpiece line, I want to say a couple years ago, there was a Masterpiece Optimus Prime, and I found a couple at Toys R Us, because I guess at one point it was hard to find, and I even thought about buying it.
Yeah.
Because when you see it in person, like, it's really cool, but honestly, like, I don't know, like, any... I know Optimus Prime, Megatron, and, like, Bumblebee. And that's it.
Yeah, I mean, even if you're not a Transformers fan and know everything about Transformers, you gotta admit, they look pretty cool, even for robot standards.
Oh yeah, the aesthetic is amazing, because some people collect just robots, so they'll collect Transformers, they'll do Gundams and stuff.
Yeah. I also have Bumblebee, Optimus, Drift, Thundercracker, Omada Prime, Jazz, Springer, Ultra Magnus, Nitro Zeus, Bone Crusher, Leader Class Optimus, Dropkick, KSI Boss, and that should be it. So that's what you're getting from Toy Fair from Hasbro Transformers line. Okay, and now Pop Funko from 2019 Toy Fair. So some of the reveals that were revealed were Stan Lee Pop Funko, which he kind of looks like a monument. Like he's like in this like he's like colored as like it looks like a statue, kind of like monument bronze looking statue of Stan Lee. So I thought that was a really cool Pop Funko. Heck, I might even buy one, even though I'm not a huge Pop Funko fan. They're also releasing like Simpsons ones, Spider-Man Far From Home from the new movie coming out this year.
Because especially pertaining to the Simpsons ones, the original Simpsons ones before the Pop game really exploded, those go for buku bucks. So people are, I'm sure, going to be really excited because it's taken them years to do a Simpsons wave 2. Like they had like Bartman and stuff like that in there.
Yeah, they did. And they also have the two Spider-Mans in his dark suit, but also in his stealth suit. And they also, I saw a Phoenix one.
The Funko Towns. Do you remember those?
I didn't. No, I didn't.
The Funko Towns are really interesting. They showcased a lot of Ghostbuster stuff, which I liked Ghostbusters. I don't necessarily care about Ghostbusters, like because the real Ghostbusters, I'd love to collect those ones from Diamond Select Toys, but they came out with a really cool one of Funko scene of where they're like getting Slimer into the canister. But Funko Towns are basically going to be just what you'd expect. You're going to get one character, and then you're going to get like a building. And the two I remember off the top of my head where they showcased Ghostbusters, and I know I'm going to have my nerd card revoked, but I believe it was Bill Murray's character.
Yeah.
But then they showcased SpongeBob with Gary on his head and a pineapple. And I guess their goal is to just be able to like you can put together these towns in your house and make it look really cool. I personally, the only one that I thought that I really cared about that they showed was I'd be lying if I said the SpongeBob wasn't tempting.
Yeah.
Especially if you give me Patrick with a rock in the future.
Yeah, I also saw they did the whole cast of The Big Bang Theory now that's in its final season. I saw all those, so just pretty much the whole Big Bang Theory cast. And I think that Funko is also part of that Primal Age.
Those are cool, yeah.
Those figures you see in stores now. What was revealed was Superman, Lex Luthor, Green Lantern, Flash, and King Shark all in those Primal Age figure setup. Kind of look like barbarian type figures.
Yeah, because they had to basically... The aesthetic of them is supposed to hit the nostalgia chord with people who grew up with in the 80s with like Masters of the Universe classics. It's those same like you can move the head, move the arms, move the legs, same 5-point style of articulation that they had back in the day on that same buck.
Mm-hmm.
They've done Thundercats. At this show, they showcased Street Fighter.
Right.
Out of all the ones they've showcased, though, the ones that were, it's tempting to get the Primal Age because now they've also done a comic with it.
Yeah.
I just don't know if I necessarily care.
No, I
And they're really cool.
Yeah.
And if I had to get them,
it's a nice concept.
I would probably get the ones that come with the beasts, like Batman on an Ace, and then Superman on Crypto would be cool, and then the Joker has a beast. But I just don't know if I necessarily care.
I'm kind of there with you. But yeah, I mean, to each their own.
It's definitely great to see Funko constantly
changing it up.
Yeah, I love how they diversify their product because the only two products that I know off the top of my head that they own the exclusive rights to are, I can't think of the name, but it's a Netflix exclusive show. Troll Hunters.
Yeah.
They own the exclusive rights to Troll Hunters. And one of the smartest things he did was Brian Mariotti got the exclusive rights to Rick and Morty.
Oh, okay.
So getting the exclusive rights to those, because if you notice, like, a lot of them, like, they haven't created too many, like, 6-inch products, really.
Mm-hmm.
They've done some Game of Thrones. They've done a couple lines of those. Some of the figures were very tight with joints. And then they did 3 3/4-inch Game of Thrones. But for the most part, as far as, I guess you could say, adult collectibles, they haven't really done that. But hitting the nostalgia chord with this one was just like doing that, their 5 points articulation He-Man style figures.
Yeah.
Ingenious.
Yeah.
Like, they're a smart company.
Yeah, no, they're definitely successful, and you see Funko Pops every show.
Everywhere.
I mean, literally, I went to a toy show down in Youngstown, and literally, like, there were probably at least 5 tables where that was all they sold were Pop Funkos.
But for me personally, as someone who enjoys Pop Funkos, the main ones I collect are, I love the Krampus line,
Yeah.
which they only did one line of that, but they're cool. I love the Batman Imposter line, which is, very artistic, and then I love a lot of the Dragon Ball Z ones.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that makes Funko so great is the Funko Pops so great are just spur of the moment, like, oh, that looks cool, keeping it between like an $8.50 and a $12.50 price point. Like, what some of these people sell and buy their Funko Pops for is crazy. Like, for example, I have a Funko Pop from Scarface. I bought it for $8. I recently saw one sell for $115 on eBay. Insane. It's crazy. Some people say they're the new Beanie Babies, but I don't know, man. They might be around for a while as long as they keep coming with fresh ideas.
Yeah, definitely.
And, okay, so now on to DC Collectibles. They had a couple of reveals as well. From their animated line, they have, like, a new, like, concept series. These figures were not in any of the shows, but they contacted, like, Bruce Timm and Paul Dini and said, hey, we'll give you a couple characters and see how would you interpret them in the animated series. And those characters are Red Hood, Deathstroke, Nightfall Batman, and Dark Knight Armor Batman as well.
The Azrael Batman.
Yeah, definitely, the Azrael Batman. So those were the animated figures coming out, as well as that previous Batman line with, Scarecrow and Two-Face and the Batman with the motorcycle. Those are also coming out as well. But that was just what was new from the animated line. What did you think about those reveals?
It was cool, but I'm still... Now, you and I, since they canceled Icons, have been pretty annoyed with DC Collectibles because, like, they focus, I feel like, on the wrong things. Like,
yeah,
is it? I love Deathstroke even before he
no, I want that figure. I mean,
but like, why would you focus on that instead of, say, Superman animated,
right? Justice
Batman
League.
animated, or like when you get the Justice League, you release Justice League as online exclusives,
right?
No accessories, no stands, and they're all subscription based. Like, I feel like, from what I heard, the rumor is their CFO they hired a couple years ago cuts costs, but it's like,
dude, just give us what we want. If
you put things out there that, like, especially things that we're not seeing in any other series, like, right. One of the smartest things they're doing is, I want to say around March or April, they're supposed to release the Grey Ghost. That's smart.
Yeah.
That will be a hot figure because it's the Grey Ghost.
They'll do everything except what you really want, which is like a Superman animated line or a Justice League animated line with accessories. And I was watching Pixel Dan and JC and Shardimus Prime, and like that, folks. That's how we get our news when it comes to Toy Fair. Also, we thank them for their coverage as well, because that's a rough week for them to get everything down. But, when they were asking, like, guy who is the DC Collectibles dude, like, well, are you going to make... They really kept nudging him, like, are you going to make Justice League figures available to everyone with accessories? Are you going to make another Batman line? Like, you could do Red Claw and classic Ra's al Ghul and, the one Reporter Woman and then
more
Mayor.
More Batman Beyond.
Right,
because,
Batman Beyond. And it's like, dude, just take the license and run with it. Like, you have this great product, and I was expecting at least another full wave of figures, and they just kind of, like, did their own thing. I think that's cool what they did, don't get me wrong, but it's like, come on, start with Justice League, or start with Superman. You can't be that limited on what you can make. They're
an annoying company because
they won't give you any answers.
They don't give you answers, and they've cut back on a lot of stuff while simultaneously increasing prices, and I don't get it.
Right.
Like,
oh yeah.
Comparatively, Hasbro gives you a lot. From my perspective, Hasbro Marvel Legends is the best figure line at a $20 price point.
For your buck, yeah. It's the best bargain for a figure.
Because you can spend more money, get other things, but like consistently, their Marvel Legends, they give you a solid amount of accessories, interchangeable hands, sometimes multiple heads, and they still keep it at like usually a $19.99 price point, and then I guess if you go to GameStop it's $22.99, which is still pretty decent. Whereas you get rid of icons and you give us this new DC Essentials line, which originally a couple years ago we're gonna come with bases.
Yeah, they don't come with bases anymore.
Yeah, they're like which. At first I was kind of bummed, but then I was like, okay, that's cool. I would love to have Batman on like a rooftop display. That's cool with like Gargoyle or whatever like you see in New York or any big metropolitan area. And then they're like, nah, we're gonna scrap that because they said they increased the articulation.
Yeah.
And then they're like, they say they call it the Essentials line because they want to give you essentially what you need. I'm sorry, but as someone who loves this nerdy stuff, I need interchangeable hands. Like I have the Deathstroke figure.
Well, you want options when you buy an action figure, especially with how much you're paying.
Right, because those things are expensive. Like my Deathstroke figure, I like the figure. It's a good figure. But the fact that I have to choose, because he comes with only one open hand, I have to choose if I want him to hold a pistol or if I want him to hold a sword is annoying. So I have him in a solid pose, but it'll be the only one I buy. And then like they came out with a Shazam and Black Adam 2-pack, and you can't do two fisted hands, no lightning effects, like no interchangeable heads, no Benny wearing the cape, but they keep increasing prices.
Right.
And I just don't.
You don't agree with it.
I don't get it.
Yeah, their DC Essentials line, they're also releasing Nightwing, Harley Quinn, Wonder Woman, Cheetah, Supergirl, Cyborg Superman, Batgirl, Joker, Red Hood, and don't worry, the Red Hood will have removable guns. And they will also be releasing a new kind of line, which DC does this a lot. They release like something new and they do it once, and then they'll release something new the following year. So they have something with it's $125 price point, 9-inch DC Prime Batman figure. It has a gun, 3 batarangs, 4 hands. It will be articulated, 3 heads, a base, and a rubber cape. The rubber cape part is not really finalized, but that's what was shown. And you also got the DC Luchadora figures that.
Those are freaking random.
Well, yeah. Let me finish. I mean, DC Luchadora figures, which will be $35 each. It has Batman, Cheetah, Superman, Deathstroke, and Mattel. And so, like I said, DC Collectibles does these certain things where it's like, here's something new, and we hope to like go deep into the line, but they never do. What they do is like that might be all the Luchadora figures you'll see, and then that'll be it.
And they're just
which I don't know if that has anything to do with sales, which if it does, that means I guess it'll be one and done. But what aggravates me about DC Collectibles is they'll put so much energy into something new like this, as opposed to something that has been proven good, like the DC animated figures. Proven to sell and to be and liked across fans of different ages, demographics, and stuff like that. But they won't continue that.
Yeah, like what
they'll do something completely random.
The past year and a half we've gotten from the traditional animated line, not including the Bruce Timm, Paul Dini inspirations, we've gotten 4.
Yeah.
4. That's garbage, and it annoys me because it's like they're punching themselves in the face because they're like, they want to make sure it sells, because I guess one of the reasons why they've canceled some lines in the past and whatnot is because, like, sales-wise, or people didn't do enough pre-orders or blah, blah, blah.
Right.
I don't pre-order things like this or Marvel Legends because I expect to see them at everywhere from Target to comic shops, and it's like, I'm not going to pre-order them. I will pre-order Mezco.
Right.
I will pre-order Bandai Tamashii Nations, Good Smile Company, etc., but I will not pre-order Hasbro, Mattel, or DC Collectibles. And it's just like, I remember a couple years ago, they started with a really cool Superman, and they started with a really cool Batman, and they put a $50 price tag on them, and they were the movie figures, and they were 8 inches, all these accessories.
Yeah.
And I love that Batman figure from Batman vs. Superman. Terrible movie. Love the figure.
Right.
And they were supposed to go starting at Man of Steel, and then they were going to, whenever DC movies came out, they wanted to release it. And then they just did they just canceled it out of the blue.
Canceled it.
And even though they had all these beautiful figures they wanted to release, Suicide Squad, which terrible movie, but it would have been cool to get the Harley Quinn from that, and they wanted to do all these things, and then they canceled them, and it's just I think they said sales, but it's give things a chance. So now I have a random Batman figure from that line, which is fine. I have to replace his batteries because they burnt out, but it's a cool higher end collectible, so to speak, and it's they've got to give things a chance. They can't be
we're doing something new. We're doing something new.
Yeah, it's like the people that are I didn't get an A on this test, so I guess I'll just give up for the rest of the course. And it's that's how I feel sometimes, is that they're just
I mean,
we didn't and I understand that sales are indicators of the future, but it's you might not sell an extreme amount of one figure, but you might sell it of the other. It's you've got to just breathe. Hasbro, with how they've come, since we've been collectors, there was a time when Hasbro first got the license for Marvel Legends, those early Hasbro figures for the most part sucked. There were a couple cool ones like Fing Fang Boom, and then they weren't sure if they even wanted to keep the license. Then they did the Return of Marvel Legends with Arnim Zola and stuff. And then ever since then, and then at one point they had a problem with logistics, and then ever since then, they've been getting better and better. And it's DC Collectibles, they give you really good ideas with the Icons line was amazing for the most part. There were a couple things where you're why is Swamp Thing so small? It was amazing, and it's they just, especially with that and with the animated line, you've got to go with what works, and you've got to be patient.
Yeah, I mean that's why I like our show, because we'll express our opinions and we'll blow our whistle. I mean it's not true for everybody that do that in the toy media, but I mean that's
right, because some people in toy media know that if you don't put a company, I guess, in their place, so to speak, or if you don't express your frustration,
right,
you're gonna get free product. And there are, unfortunately, I feel some people in the toy community that are biased. That's why one of my favorite people in YouTube, his name is Talker Art.
Yeah,
I think he's out of Vegas in Nevada in the United States. And
he's good.
I like that he doesn't cookie cut anything, and he'll just be if the product sucks, he'll be it sucks. Or if he's frustrated, he'll be he's
that's
frustrated.
What we try to do: report the news and give us our honest opinions. And it's a fan show. I mean, we're fans of figures and movies and stuff. And other things that were released from DC Collectibles were the Bat Cowls statue line. I had the Batman Who Laughs, the Arkham Asylum cowl, the Frank Miller one, the Dark Knight armor Batman one. They also came out with a new Wonder Woman shields, kind of life size. That actually looked pretty cool. The stuff they do with that is actually pretty decent. The replica Wonder Woman shield. Yeah, they also have their designer series statue with Wonder Woman, Frank Miller Batman, Nightwing. Also, the Engines of Chaos statues. They have Batman. Looks like a post-apocalyptic kind of thing. There's a Batman on a bike, the Dragon, one of the Jokers, Lobo on a bike, Poison Ivy. They also have a new Harley Quinn statue that's life-size. It's 1x2x1. That's a huge thing.
Can you imagine having that in your man cave?
The only thing if you want to see pictures of all the toys from Toy Fair, ladies and gentlemen, just check on our Facebook page. All the posts have been made on our Facebook page as well.
The only thing, that Harley Quinn statue was awesome, except for the fact that she did not contain any smoke from the gun.
Yeah.
That was the only thing that was a bummer, because I guarantee it's probably $1,000, so every little detail makes your inner nerd happy.
Exactly. And DC, from the DC artist vinyl statues were Wonder Woman, Supergirl, Batgirl, and Hawkgirl. Artist Alley, they also had this was kind of these looking, almost like radioactive monsters. The Artist Alley had Swamp Thing, Batman, Killer Croc, Joker, and Two-Face. They almost had monster versions of those characters, as well as they also had statues from Batman Metal, such as the Batman Who Laughs statue, the Red Death statue, the Devastator. They also had from the Devastator magnetic head that moved around, which was pretty cool. A little bit of articulation to a statue. They had the Batman who laughs with the Robin minions. Also, and Batman with Baby Darkseid, which it was removable, so you could have him with Baby Darkseid strapped to his chest or not. You could remove that as well. And also I think they had some Injustice figures from such as Batman, Superman, Joker, and the Flash. So we already talked about the Luchadora figures. What about Essentials or that new DC Prime Batman? Just final thoughts on DC Collectibles products such as
the Prime Batman was really cool, and I wanted it. But then when I saw the $125 price point, I was like,
Yeah.
I'll stick with things like Mondo has these really cool Batman anime figures for $120 price point, or Mezco at an $80 price point. I was just like, and of course they're like, we we'd like to go deep in there, and it's like, so they start out with Batman, which makes sense, and it's cool that it's designed. But I guess I'd have to see it in person. I don't know if I necessarily care, though. The Mad Max-inspired statues, especially the one of Batman with the Joker bots, those were really cool.
Engines of Chaos statues.
Their statues
I thought those were really, I thought... We're not saying everything from DC Collectibles is bad, folks. There are some hits and some misses.
Right. It's like any company.
Yeah,
but I thought those were really cool.
They do good with the statues. I will admit that.
The best thing, as long as they don't can it before the release, the best thing they did at the show was add bendy wire to the Batman animated Batman on the motorcycle. That was the best thing they did. That was cool. Like, I loved the bendy wire.
Gotcha. And so on to Diamond Select, which if you didn't know, another big news, they bought Gentle Giant, so they'll be selling some of their products. From what they got from Diamond Select, from what was released from Diamond Select, I should say, they got Westworld figures. They got a green Captain Marvel figure for the new Captain Marvel movie coming out real soon. Bruce Lee, additional head and nunchucks, so they'll be making Bruce Lee figures. Castlevania figures, Predator statues, and Iron Giant statue as well. That will be interchangeable, I believe, because it'll show them like regular Iron Giant and like Haywire Iron Giant as well. They have Nightmare Jack in Chair figs, as well as a Coffin Doll, John Wick figure, Kingdom Hearts Mini-Mates, and also Sonic Diorama figures. Did you see those? Those Sonic Diorama, like how you play the game Sonic, and they showed like it's like a playset kind of thing.
That was cool. They said
that was the coolest thing I thought from Diamond Select.
They said they won't be articulated, but it looks really nice. In my opinion, the coolest thing though was the beautiful Iron Giant.
Yeah, no, I like that. Now that company also, the big statue company, well, they're going to get into Iron Giant, and they're also going to get to Sonic. The Sonic thing was cool, but also they have the Kingdom Hearts figures such as Hercules, Donald, Goofy, Sora, Maleficent. Any of those interest you from?
I wish they weren't 2-packs, because I don't know that much about Kingdom Hearts, but I'd be lying if I said it wouldn't be cool to have a Hercules figure.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, seeing stuff like that.
I just don't know.
I hope they go back into like old animated figures from like back then. I think that'd be cool if Disney did something like that.
I've always liked Diamond Select as a company. It's just, unfortunately, like with their Marvel Select is, I don't necessarily collect that scale.
Right.
So that's why I love when they do things like that I can justify.
Yeah.
Like Hulkbuster, a Groot, all those go really well.
Right.
In with your figures, or even like you remember that Disney Store exclusive Thor I have with the spinning hammer? That was cool.
Yeah.
But like so many cool things they did this year. The Bruce Lee figures were cool.
Yeah.
My one stepbrother's a huge Bruce Lee fan, and just that they had like spinning nunchucks. Like, I like Diamond Select as a company. I think they do a good job.
Yeah, they do a good job. And also, more statues that are getting released are Wonder Woman, Shazam, Harley Quinn, Supergirl, Batgirl, The Dark Knight, and Darkseid. Figures that will be releasing is that Sandman figure. He'll have like a sand base, and also have interchangeable... I don't know if he'll have interchangeable heads, but he has interchangeable hands. That was kind of different from Diamond Select with the Sandman figure.
That thing is amazing. The base, too, like the detail.
Yeah. I mean, you see certain companies with Sandman, they kind of like sort of half-ass it with them. But like that figure with Sandman, it could fit in your Legends, because he could like grows and changes in size, so that could fit within your Legends section. But also as well, they had like a lot of accessories for him as well. Okay, so something a little bit different for a change. Did you see that new Ecto-1 Ectotron by Hasbro? The Ghostbusters mobile that transformed into a Transformer that is going to be available at GameStop?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see that?
No.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, you got to look it up. It's called the Ecto-1, and it's essentially the Ectotron. That's what it's called. But it's essentially the Ecto-1 that can transform in its own version of a Transformer. So it's a combination of a Transformer and also Ghostbusters. So it's like, kind of like that. So I thought that was one of the top cool things from Hasbro that they did differently. That's going to be available at GameStop. I don't know when. But, that was one of the coolest things I thought that was released. Also, going on over to Lego, they had some reveals. We're probably not going to get into all of them, but we'll get into most of them. They have the new Flintstones set house with the Flintstones car. It has Fred, Barney, Wilma, and Betty. Did you see that set?
Yes.
Isn't that cool?
Very.
Yeah, I thought that was.
But what about Dino and Bam Bam and Pebbles?
I mean, you never know. There's always room for more sets.
I guess the idea was someone submitted that idea to them.
Oh, really? It's one of those Lego ideas.
That's what I heard. Was someone submitted it and they were just like, hell yeah, like.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense because who doesn't love Hanna-Barbera? We're not even children of the 60s and 70s, but we love Hanna-Barbera. It's iconic.
Yeah.
And now it's kind of cool that, like, since Warner Brothers owns DC, they also own Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera. So
right.
It's super smart.
And also, Lego is releasing, Toy Story Legos, such as the Octopus Ride with Bo Peep, Woody, Buzz, the Vacation set with has a van, has Rex, and an alien. Carnival Thrill Coaster, all from the new movie Toy Story 4, comes out this summer.
Can't wait. They said on a side note, they said that Tom Hanks and like Tim Allen were like crying.
Yeah. Apparently it's going to be super emotional, so I don't know what's going to happen at the end of this movie.
The trailers have both been good, but I'm just kind of like...
Yeah, we don't know what to expect.
Because you and I love Toy Story 3, but they ended it so well that
what more can you tell?
Right.
Yeah. Carnival Thrill Coaster with Buzz and Alien minifigs. Woody and Soldiers micro figures and it has an RC car with it. From the Star Wars sets, you got Rey and Kylo fighting from like what looks like to be in a forest, like in The Force Awakens. A Snowspeeder ship with Luke as the pilot is a minifigure. Slave One, which is out now, 20th anniversary set, has Han, Boba Fett, and I think Leia as well. I think Chewie too. Clone Scout Walker, Trooper Droid, and Wookiee minifigures. Black Ace TIE Interceptor with Poe, BB-8, and some guy called Eric. Pod Racer.
I love how they give them all these fancy names, and then it's just like Eric.
They'll be random characters, so they give them names to show who they are on the box. A Pod Racer Anakin from like the old set from Episode 1. It's kind of like a remade set, which looks really well. I thought that's like a retro set for me because I actually had the old version of that set. So they'll have the Pod Racer with Anakin, Padme. Also, they have a droid gunship, A-Tap Walker, Battle Rex, Generator Guns, Major TIE Fighter, there's always another one of those, Imperial Dropship with 3 Stormtroopers, and there'll also be new Harry Potter sets as well coming out. We only have the names, so it is said that the new Harry Potter sets will be Hogwarts Watchtower, the Night Bus, Hagrid's Hut, a set called Expecto Patronum, and the Triwizard Challenge, as well as some new Jurassic Park figures coming out in fall, with T-Rex vs. Dino-Mech Battle Set. It has 3 minifigures, and it also has like a volcano. Baryonyx set, 4 minifigures. It has a truck and a trailer. Dilophosaurus will also have like a drone and I think gift shop stand as well. A Triceratops set with fence and 4 minifigures as well. That's all from Lego. I mean, I think the Flintstones set was the biggest one. That was like the biggest reveal. Obviously, Star Wars, half that Star Wars stuff, ladies and gentlemen, is already out. The Harry Potter stuff will be out sometime this year, and the Toy Story 4 expect between spring and summer. Now going on to Mcfarlane Toys releases, they got the Mortal Kombat license, the Game of Thrones, and from the Game of Thrones series, they'll have a new Jon Snow, Arya, Daenerys, the Night King figures, I think they're 6-inch, and the Ice Dragon figure, Viserion, and Drogon dragons as well. So
the dragons especially look sweet, how you can like remove the flame burst and you can make the wings go up and down. I expect those to be probably like a $40 price tag though, if I had to guess.
I'd say around 20. They're not usually. They'll probably be the same price as the Stranger Things figures.
That'd be cool. If he could keep it at 20, I'm a buyer.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I don't like about those is the face sculpts look kind of meh on the pictures I saw at Toy Fair, but I hope they improve on that, and I hope they look better in person. So I'm a buyer for the Game of Thrones figures, assuming they look well, and I'll definitely get the dragons. Also, Stranger Things Season 3, they'll also have new figures released with Chief Hopper and Eleven. They also had David Bowie figure from Pan's Labyrinth. They also had Fallout. They had the power armor from Fallout. From Doom, they had the Doom Slayer, Scorpion, and Sub-Zero. Elder Scrolls, they had Aldun, who's the dragon. Five Nights at Freddy's playset figures, that's a tongue twister. Naruto figures, Sakura, and One Punch Man. Destiny, Hunter, Clyde 6, Titan, Lord Shax, and also from Call of Duty they had Ghost, Soap, Simon, Rich Tofen, and Riley. And also from Borderlands they had Tiny Tim, Zero Fig, Craze, Psycho, and Claptrap. And Clay. That's it. So those are from Mcfarlane Toys. Sorry I may have butchered some of those names, but I'm not into Fallout, Doom, or Elder Scrolls. But if you understood that, those are all going to be figures coming out by Mcfarlane.
One of the most interesting things about Mcfarlane too is how they had they're doing like One Punch Man and My Hero Academia and all that fun stuff.
Fortnite figures, they'll also have Raptor, Black Knight, Dref, Rex, Skull Trooper, Carbide, Omega, Jonesy, AIM, Ragnarok, Dark Bomber, Deluxe Glider, Mako, Wildcard, Jonesy, Glider Pack, and Quad Crasher, all from the Fortnite line. Also, we'll move on to Hasbro. They released a new Power Rangers line coming out this April with the Lightning Collection 6-inch figures. Apparently it was a big deal for Power Rangers fans. Did you see those?
They looked cool. I don't care at all pretty much about Power Rangers, but like that Lord Zed, how he had those like wire things, how they sculpted it so beautifully. They look like tubes or something. Like,
yeah,
it was cool. I feel like the hottest sellers would be the Lord Zed, the White Ranger.
yeah.
Those are from back in the day.
Right, they had Beast Morpher Red Ranger, the GameStop exclusive Goldar, the White Ranger, yeah, they said Lord Zed, Dino Charge Red Ranger, and the Shadow Ranger with additional head. That line, Hasbro seems to be nailing it with the Power Rangers, so everything they touch usually turns to gold. I'm not into Power Rangers, but those figures look, hella sick, so.
The only one I would ever get is, for nostalgia purposes, is the Pink Ranger, because as a kid, like, who did not ever crush on the Pink Ranger?
Right, and onto the Star Wars Black Series line. They have like a new line that was released for 6-inch. Vice Admiral Holdo, Mace Windu, Padme for Episode 2, Battle Droid, Dryden Voss, Solo Mud Trooper, and Afra. That's all going to be in that line for the 6-inch line. They also had BT-1, 000, Ezra, Chopper, C-110P.
The Chopper looked cool, that base with him blasting off. I've never seen it.
I've never seen that was
Rebels.
cool. Dr. Effer, Luke, Stormtrooper, Jump Trooper, Anakin, and Scout Trooper, all for 6-inch line. So did you see any of those 6-inch ones you liked? Any of those Star Wars Black Series line you liked? 6-inch? I mean, I'll get the Mace Windu, the Battle Droid, the Padme, probably.
I'm interested in the Mace Windu because I already have a figure, so what do I compare?
Yeah, the Mace Windu looked really good, so I was really
They
impressed with that.
They give him a cloth robe, too, which was cool.
Yeah, and also they released a new Hyper Real Darth Vader. Any thoughts on the Hyper Real?
Meh.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks cool, and I might get it. It's tempting.
I just don't need bigger versions of figures I already have. I'm more of a 6-inch guy.
Seems like a way to grab money, though.
It is, and I think they're just kind of just trying to resell you the same figures every year, such as like either Darth Vader. Also, Episode 1 figures, they're releasing like a retro style card back from like the original release of Episode 1 figures. They'll have Darth Maul, Padawan Obi-Wan, kind of throwback retro packaging from like back when the movie was released. And they will also have 6-inch retro figures from the original trilogy, so they look like the vintage, 3-inch figures, the first line of figures, but they're in 6-inch. And they will have Han, Leia, Stormtrooper, Vader, Chewie, Luke, and Tarkin. Tarkin's the new one from like the vintage. They didn't have an original figure for Tarkin back then. And also Jabba's Palace playset. So anything that I just said catch your eye, or just pretty much just into the Star Wars 6-inch?
The Star Wars 6-inch.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars is kind of... I think they're just kind of spinning their wheels now with Hasbro. I mean, Hasbro is just like, they either release the stuff from the movies, and they've been kind of pretty conservative with everything. I like the new relaunch of, like, certain figures you didn't get before. Pretty much, yeah, same old for Star Wars. And let's move on to Marvel Legends, everyone's favorite line, everyone's most anticipated reveals. Marvel Legends Hasbro. World War II Cap on motorcycle with the World War II style. He's in a green motorcycle.
Fantastic.
I gotta get that one. It gave me the figure chills.
It's up there for me with the Professor X hover chair we're going to be getting in, like, hopefully a month or so.
Yeah, and I have to get it because it just looks so cool. From the Spider-Man Far From Home wave, they'll have the black Spider-Man suit, very similar to his Homecoming suit, just more darker. Stealth suit Spider-Man, Doppelganger, Hydro Man, Scorpion with bendy tail, and yes, that will have bendy wire. Let me repeat myself. That Scorpion will have bendy wire in his tail. There's Spider-Woman, the Julia Carter kind. What did you think from that wave?
Scorpion and the Hydro Man, because they're doing what Diamond selected, whereas they're adding the base how Sandman and Hydro Man can both like turn their legs into either sand or water.
Yeah.
And the accessories with Hydro Man was great.
Yeah.
That might be the figure of the wave.
I think, yeah, probably Hydro Man, because I wasn't really sure what to expect if they were going to actually do one. I expected them to do a Scorpion eventually, the ones from the movie eventually. So, and I'm really into that Doppelganger too. Let's not forget about that figure. Hydro Man, obviously, and Doppelganger. What about you with Doppelganger? Interested in that one? He's from the Symbiote storyline, but I think he looked pretty cool.
Maybe, I'm not sure.
Yeah, and from the Avengers Endgame wave, they obviously didn't show any movie figures from that wave. So, but the ones you're getting are Nighthawk, Hercules, Ebony Maw, Living Laser, Citizen V. You'll get obviously Ebony Maw. A lot of people wanted him to be a 2-pack with Corvus Glaive, but that didn't happen. So you're gonna get Ebony Maw just kind of in that Avengers Endgame line. Wave 2 for the Avengers will be comic book Loki, Beta Ray Bill, Union Jack, Rock Python, and Shuri. Any of those figures that I just named, any interest in any of those figures?
Not really.
The comic Loki. Yeah, I get that. No? Really?
Maybe.
Beta Ray Bill?
Yeah.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, what are you on a figure diet? Or? Alright, so I'll just keep going down the list. I mean, the ones I like are obviously Ebony Maw, Shuri, and the comic book Loki. Those are ones I'm going to
I
get.
may get Thanos' Horseman. Maybe. Because I do have
okay.
my figure arts Thanos is amazing, so maybe I'll surround him with some other with his cast of
I think
characters.
once you see him in person, you'll feel very different. Walgreens exclusives: Mystique, Infinite Iron Man, which is that Doctor Doom looking Iron Man from the comics. Black costume Emma Frost. Any of those interesting?
Mystique,
obviously.
Easily Mystique. That looks amazing. Looks like the best one yet.
I feel like they've done Emma Frost a lot.
Not really into that. Walmart exclusive: Corvus Glaive Loki 2-pack from the movie. Target exclusive Spider-Man in his black suit with Kraven the Hunter, both comic based for Spider-Man and Kraven. How about those? Target and Walmart exclusive.
I mean the Kraven maybe. I'm not sure.
Skip on this Kraven. I already have a Kraven for my collection. Corvus Glaive I want, but I really don't want the Loki. To see how I can get that. Spider-Man Homecoming, Target exclusive 2-pack MJ and Spider-Man in his yellow school jacket, seen in the first movie. Sounds interesting. I think I'll pick that up just for the MJ. Plus, they did something different with Spider-Man, so I'll probably pick that one up. The Amazon exclusive Family Matters 3-pack with Magneto, Scarlet Witch, and Quicksilver. Now, I'd be surprised if you're not interested in that one.
That looks badass.
Yeah, it does. I think,
especially the Quicksilver. I'm bummed no toe pivots, but it looks really cool.
I think they did a really good job on the Scarlet Witch. I think they did a really good job with, obviously, Quicksilver. And I might end up getting that one because I kind of do want a classic Magneto. And you get a really cool Scarlet Witch, which infinite improvement, and also Quicksilver as well. And also, they have a Hela 2-pack with Executioner. He comes with a gun and axe.
And Hela gets that grab Mjolnir in her hand.
She'll have 2 heads. You'll also get a Captain America Peggy Carter 2-pack. I'm definitely going to get that one.
Both of those are great.
Yeah, both those 2-packs are great. I have to get those. Grandmaster and Korg.
Yes, please.
Yep, gotta get. I mean, Marvel Legends was just crazy this year. They seem to have more reveals than usual. Did you think so?
Yeah, I'd say so. They've usually been pretty good about it.
And for the new 80th anniversary Marvel Legends figures, they have the first appearance of Wolverine with Hulk 2-pack, and Hulk will come with like 2 fists, and he also comes with like a ripped lab coat shirt. They also will have Jim Lee style Juggernaut and Colossus 2-pack, which I thought was like incredible the way they revealed those. So I never finished my Build-A-Figure for the Juggernaut, so I'll definitely get that Juggernaut and Colossus, because how could you say no to that Colossus and that Hulk and Wolverine first appearance 2-pack. That original looking Hulk looks perfect, looks great. How about you with those 2-packs?
They look really cool. I like them a lot. The Hulk versus Wolverine. Yes, please.
So you're gonna get
Yeah.
Probably the Juggernaut and Colossus and the...
Probably
Yeah.
both. Plus, it saves you money on the Build-A-Figure Juggernaut.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know how you could say no to those two packs, but yeah, I'm have to buy them. I mean, they're just that good. They turned out so well that how could you say no? And you just have to buy them. So yeah, I'm gonna buy those, no doubt. They also had the Alex Ross, part of the 80th anniversary Marvel Legends figures of Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, all in their classic versions. Captain America will be like that feathery looking armor. Iron Man will have metallic paint, blast effects, and like 3 different heads. One will be Iron Man head, another one will be an Iron Man head, and another one will be a Tony Stark head as well. Those looked incredible.
That was very good, yes.
I thought that was Hasbro Marvel Legends' best reveal, because they somehow find a way to try to resell Cap, Thor, and Iron Man, and yet they did it again. And I gotta say, those figures looked crazy good. Marvel Legends will be our last thing to talk about. Then we'll give you our top 10. So 2-pack with Iron Man and Iron Spider-Man, both from Avengers Infinity War. Iron Man with the sonic beams and Iron Spider-Man with the arms. Finally, we are getting an Iron Spider-Man with the golden arms from Marvel Legends. They went back and they redid it.
Because the only ones beforehand were SH Figure Arts, Marvel Select, and then I think Mafex was the other one, or Figma, one of the 2.
Yeah, and I will say, I'm glad I waited because I did not buy the other Iron Spider-Man without the arms, because I kind of figured they'd go back into it, and I'm glad they did. Also with the Iron Man with the sonic beams effect that float behind him as that clear plastic thing. That looks really great. It has the shiny plastic, metallic paint on both figures. I can't say no. I gotta buy them. Somehow they find ways to keep you trying to buy Iron Man figures, and I gotta get that one. And this Iron Spider-Man with the arms, with the metallic paint, I gotta go get it, because that's what I've been waiting for. I was super stoked, Kyle, when they released that. I was like,
it looks very cool, especially that they're really well articulated.
Yeah.
I want to say like pretty much everything except for like the tippity top.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much articulated.
Yeah, so I'm really excited personally for that 2-pack. From Ant-Man 2, the Ghost and Luis 2-pack, the Ghost figure and Luis with the Pym Enterprises thing that
was wonderful.
From the suitcase, the rolling suitcase. So they'll have that as an effect for Luis. Which I'm very happy they're finally making a Ghost. I think you're kind of expecting this from Marvel Legends. 2-packs, and they're starting to release like characters you either don't have or just like villains you don't have, and they just kind of be releasing them in 2-pack form.
2-packs are cool too, because like sometimes 2-packs are crappy when they try to sell you a figure, like one figure you want, one figure you don't want. But a lot of these 2-packs are like figures you want. Like you want Luis and you want Ghost. Like both of those are cool.
Definitely gonna get those 2 for me, for my personal collection. I'm a big MCU Marvel Legends figure collector. Definitely gonna get those. Really excited that they're kind of doing 2-packs right, with like 2 different characters, like with the Korg and Grandmaster 2-pack, and as well as the Luis and Ghost 2-pack as well. And 90s X-Men Vintage Wave, the X-Factor Cyclops, Silver Samurai, Wolverine, Disco Dazzler, Boom Boom, Cannonball, and the Build-A-Figure Mr. Sinister. The Cannonball figure will have flame blast effects. I don't know who Cannonball is, but he looked like a cool figure.
For me, that Mr. Sinister, though, looks phenomenal.
Yeah, and the Nightcrawler. And he will not have bendy tail, but you could rotate the tail, so you could have him hang and stuff like that. So, Kyle, what figures from that line are you interested in?
Mr. Sinister, Nightcrawler, maybe Cyclops.
Okay. But yeah, me, Nightcrawler, I think I'll probably get Cannonball, and maybe Silver Samurai for me. So that wraps up our Marvel Legends reveals. If you had to say who won Toy Fair, Kyle, this year, who were your winners this year?
I would say Hasbro.
Mm-hmm.
I would say Mcfarlane.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like really good releases go, I would say those 2 were the top ones for me. A lot of the import companies that we didn't really talk about were decent, but they didn't have enough reveals for me to say that they beat them. I would say Hasbro had the sheer volume. Mcfarlane had a lot of nice surprises. So I'd say Hasbro or Mcfarlane.
I will say...
and then NECA would be a number 3, but I will be buying none of that product. But it was because it's not things I like, except for maybe Ace Ventura, maybe the Golden Girls.
Yeah, I thought NECA, Diamond Select, obviously...
Oh yeah, I almost forgot about them. Diamond Select did really well too.
Yeah, NECA, Diamond Select, Hasbro, obviously. I think Hasbro won because they released the most toy product. I thought DC Collectibles had a good show, statue-wise, just not one toy-wise.
Right, because it's toy fair.
Yeah,
Statue fair.
exactly. Yeah, Mcfarlane I thought won like the best news. So let's get into our top 10. I wrote. Did you write two lists? Because I wrote two lists. I did top 10 best and my top 10 favorites personally. So we'll end the show off our top 10s here. I'll name off my top 10 best. Did you have a top 10 best?
I have a top 10 best too.
Okay, so I had a top 10 favorite and top 10 best. Did you have two lists or no?
I have top 10 best, and then we can even talk about some of the things that like we wish we liked. That like for me, like really quick, if I had to talk about some of the things that
Okay.
I loved, but I will not be buying just because it's just not my cup of tea. Lord Zed from Power Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
The tubing was amazing. I would love it just for the aesthetic. Don't know the character, don't know Power Rangers. And then the TMNT 2-packs.
Yeah.
Amazing. I don't really care about TMNT.
Right. Okay, so my top 10 best overall from Toy Fair. Just, what I just thought everybody liked from Toy Fair. I said number 10 was Hyper Real Darth Vader. That was new, but, I think that's kind of more of a money grab just because it was different, but the quality of the figure held true and was high. Number 9, I have 6-inch vintage Star Wars. Just kind of like making the vintage Star Wars figures kind of different, I guess, upping them in scale. I mean, it's kind of like I said, another money grab, but something different, I guess, if you're a Star Wars fan. Number 8, I had the Pop Funko Stan Lee, which kind of looked like a monument, looked like a bronze statue. I thought that was creative on Pop Funko's part, and also paying homage to the late great Stan Lee. 7, I thought the DC Collectibles Luchadora figures, as random as they were, I thought that was, at least it was different and it was out of left field, so it was creative. I'll give them that. Number 6, the Lego Flintstone set. Number 5, the Hasbro Power Rangers line. Every Power Ranger fan seemed to like them. They were high quality, and they seemed to create a buzz at Toy Fair. Number 4, the Marvel Legends Alex Ross retro figures. Just the ones we just talked about. Just the quality of those were great. They were very classic looking and comic book accurate. Number 3, the NECA Target 2-pack TMNT figures. Everyone's getting excited about those. How could you not put them on your at least top 3 or top 5? Everybody's excited about those for TMNT fans. Number 2, I thought this was creative, and I kind of liked it. Who knows, I might buy it myself. The Ectotron Transformer Ghostbusters car that transforms into a Transformer. 2 properties merging, such as Transformers and Ghostbusters, creating one cool, awesome toy. And I will say that my top 10, number 1 best thing, Kyle, to come out of Toy Fair was that Mcfarlane finally got the DC Harry Potter license, 2 big licenses, and finally Mcfarlane gets the opportunity for a huge license. So that was my favorite thing from Toy Fair, the Mcfarlane news, and I think a lot of people would agree.
Oh yeah, I agree. Especially because it's not like they were like, hey, the DC license is going to Spin Masters in 6-inch, because then people would be like,
yeah, that would be.
No offense to Spin Masters, but they're not known for.
It probably wouldn't have worked out well, and
right.
I think they finally found a better buyer in Mcfarlane. What was your top 10 best from Toy Fair?
My top 10 best figures.
Were they your personal favorites or just the favorites in general?
These are my personal favorites.
Okay, so and then you tell me yours, and I'll tell you mine.
Number 10 would be the Marvel Legends 2-pack of Korg and Grandmaster. Number 9 is the DC Multiverse Joker with Acid Effect.
Oh, okay.
Number 8 would be the DC animated Batman with Batcycle. And the reason, even though they've showcased it before that I'm adding in there, is because the introduction of the Bendy Wire was amazing. Number 7 was the Game of Thrones Dragons. Number 6, a company we didn't talk about, was Storm Collectibles. Their Bane, based off Injustice, was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Number 5, another company we didn't talk about, was SH Figure Arts from Bandai Machinations Evil Boo.
Okay.
For Dragon Ball. Number 4 would be Marvel Legends World War II Cap with motorcycle.
Okay.
3 would be Mezco Classic Harley Quinn. 2, a company we didn't talk about because I really couldn't find that much information on it.
Yeah.
I've only seen like a couple pictures from Wonderfest, which is in Japan. A company called Sentinel is doing a Ronin Warriors line of figure.
Oh, okay.
And they're an anime. They're a really good anime.
Uh-huh.
And then number 1 is Diamond Select the Iron Giant figure. Because
nice.
Mondo's done them, Sentinel's done them. I feel like we'll probably get it at a really good price point too.
Yeah, and I heard it'll have interchangeable parts too, so you get a little bonus there.
So excited.
So
what about you, my friend?
My personal favorites from Toy Fair this year, I'd say number 10 were I had the Black Series Mace Windu, but I actually think I'll put that down as my real number 10 rethinking is the Game of Thrones Mcfarlane Dragons. I'll definitely be getting those. Number 9, the animated Deathstroke figure from DC Collectibles. A little bit different, but it came out pretty well. Number 8, the Black Series Padawan Obi-Wan figure. I need that for my collection. Plus the retro packaging seems cool. Number 7, the Hydro Man Marvel Legends. Number 6, the Juggernaut Colossus 2-pack, Marvel Legends. Number 5, Avengers Infinity War Iron Man and Iron Spider-Man 2-pack. Finally getting those golden arms. Really relieved to finally get that. And also a highly improved Iron Man figure. Number 4, the Grandmaster Korg Marvel Legends 2-pack. Number 3, Cap with World War II motorcycle bike. And number 2, I have the Scorpion Marvel Legend. I've been waiting forever for him. Wasn't sure if we were going to get him this year, but waited long enough. And my number 1 thing from Toy Fair 2019 was the Alex Ross Marvel Legends wave with Iron Man, Cap, and Thor. But if I had to pick one, it'd probably be Cap because it had like a different costume, which we haven't seen from it in a long time. So that really just blew me away of that 80 years of Marvel line as well. It just blew me away, like, because they've done these figures so many times and they finally like made them look fresh and accurate to the comic books. And so that will pretty much wrap up our show today for Toy Fair 2019 coverage. Our next episode, I know we said this episode was going to be about taking care of your collection and what makes a good toy shop, but that's actually going to be our next episode and probably the end of March, between March and April. So our next episode, of course, will be taking care of your collection and what makes a good toy shop, such as cleaning and display options for your collection as well. So what did you think of Toy Fair this year?
I thought it was pretty good. I thought it was a solid outing.
Yeah, solid, and I thought all the companies brought their A game. Toy Fair seems to be getting bigger every year, a lot more product. It's a little bit difficult for us to keep track of it all. We wish we could cover everything.
Hopefully one day we'll be there.
Yeah.
Getting some of those beautiful Mezco exclusives like the Blade and their, their mascot.
Oh, Gomez.
How they had exclusives of those.
Yeah.
Those look phenomenal.
We try to get everything, all the information we can to you. If you want to see pictures, go on our Facebook page. There's links as well from the people that did go to Toy Fair. Special thanks to everybody who went to Toy Fair and did like YouTube channels and pictures and photography and such as Shardamus, JC, Pixel Dan, Fwoosh.
Daredevil 19 was there.
Daredevil, yeah. Thank you guys for going to Toy Fair, getting that information. We know you really have to hustle for that information, the photos and videos. Yeah, that's it for Toy Fair 2019 coverage. This is Talking Toys. Make sure to please, folks and fans, please like and subscribe on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. That's again, please like and subscribe to our channels on Facebook, SoundCloud, and YouTube. And this is Brock Lauer signing off.
As well as Kyle Walters.
And live every day like it's Toy Fair.